Okay.
Hey guys, we're back. It's your girl Brina,
And Tasha.
and it's Us on Reality. And this
Hmm.
time we'll be discussing Ready to Love episode 4.
Hmm.
So for this one, it's the guys' week. They have the upper hand and they're doing a yacht party.
Yeah.
And again, the outfits. These ladies with their swimsuits with the red and the pink and the yellow and the purple. I was like, this is beautiful. I love
Pop.
it.
Hmm.
There was a couple of dates this week before they went to the yacht.
Mm.
There was Mark Anthony and Jeffrey, which I was like, you want to go on a date with Jeffrey? And then there was Marcia and Blue.
Yeah.
So Mark Anthony and Jeffrey really hit it off.
They did.
Look weird to me. They don't look like they go together.
No, they don't. I thought it was no, they don't. Something seems off. How old
Too
is
old for
he?
him. Not too old. That's what I looked at. They're the same age. They're
She
both
has a
34.
no, she's 32.
Okay, then they're both 32. They're the same age.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
She looks more mature than him, but that's not surprising. She's a mother of three and he is a child. I don't know this man. I'm sorry. He appears to me like a child.
Why? He's
I
getting
don't
his pilot's license. He's not a
I know
child.
you keep saying that. You keep saying that. Let me say it this way. When just looking at their interactions, there was
Uh-huh.
something to me that was very evident that she is a mom and she's had to do things to take care of things. And there was something in him cavalier, just very like relaxed, go with the flow. But I mean, like, he's a single young man getting his pilot's license. Very much should
He's,
have that energy.
he's chilling. I
That's
very much so see Morgan with him.
Mercedes.
Yep. Mercedes. They match better.
They match. They match better. They
Yeah.
do. She
Hmm.
has that same kind of like loose, anything can go, like we're just having fun. But versus like Jeffrey, there's something about her that's uptight to me.
Is there?
I don't know what it is. There's just maybe it's not uptight. Maybe it is just more like I have stuff to do. I got to get things done.
I
You
don't
know,
get that from.
something about her was just like her and Mark Anthony. It didn't fit for me.
No, it doesn't really fit for me. But when I see her, and I'm envious of women that I feel like are this way. Women that are mothers, such as me. I I always feel like I got so much to do. And so when I see mothers, like our youngest sister, Shell, she's always just like, yeah. Like she's I feel like I feel like she's just like, mm. Like she's just bobbing and weaving through life. She's like, oh, that's okay. That's all right. That's all right. But for me, I feel like, God dang, him again. Oh shit. Like I just,
Lindsay
I
doesn't
can't.
try to control the world.
That's it. And that is my problem.
Mhm.
I have a problem with control. But I guess how I feel about Jeffrey. Like I just feel like she just kind of like because she talks real mellow. She
Yeah.
talks, like
It's
I
also
feel like
just
just
personality types too. You
Mark and Jeffrey. I thought it was cute them on the date riding the bull, whatever, or the mechanical bull. But I don't. When I see people jump on those, I'm kind of hesitant, like Jeffrey. Like, yeah, in one part it's like, man, that looks fun, but then I'm like, what happens when my shoulder get dislocated? That's what
That's
I
the
think
real
about.
thing. Okay.
I know it's a real thing. Like,
I'll be
it
sitting there
was fun.
like, somebody come get me up.
Right. It's all fun and games till it's not.
Okay.
Still,
Let's
I don't know
see.
why people want to jump on bulls.
Because
But
they
you know what?
have limbs that fall out, so they can just go have fun.
I think that maybe we're weak-limbed people.
Or
I
limb.
know. I hated one. I made it.
I like it though. Weak
Right.
limbed.
Yeah, we weak-limbed it. I feel like both of my shoulders want to come out, and if they do, You'll probably hear me scream all the way in Massachusetts.
First of all, look, the way you deal with pain,
Oh no, I don't.
you get thrown off. Sit your
I'm 100% if and when, Lord, please no, my shoulders just give out and my arms fall down to the side. I'm gonna let my whole body fall with them, and I'm just gonna pass out till somebody else come to put my arms
and
back.
then Blue and Marcia
Mm-hmm. No,
romantically.
no, because she just kept saying all the stuff she's not into, what she doesn't like. But like, I mean, she's being honest.
Mhm.
I don't like what she's. I don't like outdoor stuff. I'm scared of animals.
Yeah. Yeah, she was saying all the stuff she didn't like, and Blue was like, so she's a cool home girl. Like,
Right?
he was like,
Yeah.
nah.
Yeah. I mean, something as simple as fishing. That's not outdoorsy to me. You're sitting, you're chilling most of the time.
So I could see somebody that don't like to be outdoors saying that fishing is outdoorsy.
I mean,
That you're outdoors and you're
that
gonna
was
start feeling like outside.
that was dumb of me to say. I mean that. I
No, I get
understand
what you meant by it though.
because you're not like trekking through the forest with it. That's what. But
Not running around outside. You're sitting.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
like,
you're.
man, I don't like going to the park. You're sitting.
Yeah, I hate the sky. Like, what do you say? I love fishing.
But I also feel like if she doesn't like that stuff, because I think about fishing, if you're someone that's going to try to do it yourself and the person you're with isn't helping you, you have to put the bait on the hook. That's gross. If you're not an outdoorsy person, you don't want to touch that. And then you got to touch the dirty because the fishing rod is, I'm sure, dirty, and you got to get the line on the hook. Like, that's nasty to people that don't want to be out there doing all that stuff, right? So I,
Yeah,
I understand where she's coming from. Like, she's always dressed very nice. She ain't trying to get none of them clothes dirty.
I understand, but I mean, yeah, to each its own. One thing that I thought was different, because I fish with Joe
Mm-hmm.
and the kids fish. We all fish.
Mm-hmm. He's so cute.
We use worms for
Mm-hmm.
bait. But when all those guys got together, like before Tommy came and told them, he said they use squid.
Mm-hmm.
Now that a worm, I can rip a worm apart and use
Mm-hmm.
half of it for bait and
Mm-hmm.
then use the other half on another when I cast again.
Oh, okay.
I'm not ripping apart no squid.
Can you not just use the whole thing?
I'm sure you could. I'm sure you could, but
Like
I just thought
wasteful? I
it's
don't
like,
know how big they
real-
are.
hmm?
I don't know how big they are. Would it be wasteful to use the whole thing? Probably.
And I don't know if they're using like live squid so that when they're in the water, they still move around and attract more fish. But I don't know. I didn't see anybody get a fish, so
Were they really fishing, or was that
I,
like a ploy?
I don't know. They seemed uncomfortable. Nobody had seats. Everybody was just standing at the edge. It seemed very uncomfortable. That wasn't real fishing. They weren't relaxed
It
and
was
chilling.
very contrived. Oh, this will be a good scene. We'll show the
Hmm.
guys fish. Now we're at the yacht party, and the big announcement that was given at the yacht party: Andre has COVID.
That hurt my feelings, bro.
It did, because I was like, "How long is this? Can he come back after?"
That's how I felt. Like, how come he can't just come back after it?
I know, after the 14 days. I was
And I
like,
would think
"Not
that he
so
may want
bad."
to. I thought he had good enough connections, especially
Ooh.
with like Cynthia
So then I was just
and
thinking,
Jeffrey, talking
he
to
has
her.
I would imagine he has their numbers.
Oh, for
So
sure,
I'm like,
yeah.
in the way that this show is going, I'm like, he can still just like text and talk with them. Like,
Hmm.
maybe they don't find a person on here and like he's still somebody they can date. Y'all obviously live in the same city.
Maybe so, girl. Trying to keep him. Oh my god.
But then Cynthia was talking to Anthony on the boat. So I'm just gonna say a few people that were interacting with each other. They played a game on the boat, and then we'll say like what the guys ended up deciding on as far as elimination and things like that.
Hmm.
So Cynthia was talking to Anthony, Tony was talking to Morgan and Jonique. Corvea and Demario had a good conversation. And then it was Jeffrey and Sue Ann. Hello, girl. Hi, Lola. Hi, Lilith. Oh, we're so cute.
When I saw Anthony talking to Morgan, I was like, who is that?
Poor man, you forgot about him again.
I did. I said, oh, they put his name up. I was like, oh, that's right. The beard. I really thought him and Morgan or him and
Yeah,
Cynthia's conversation
it was
was
nice.
really
It was
yeah, it was really
real.
nice. And so
It
I was
was
like, okay,
real.
maybe I can remember Anthony.
And I was like, they may be a better match because he has one child. So I'm like, he gets it. And I think
Mm-hmm.
Cynthia be dropping knowledge. I love
Mm-hmm.
the stuff that she has to say. She said, if a man having a child doesn't change him, nothing will. And I was like, that's
Yes.
if you don't grow your life up or you try to improve yourself for the well-being of your offspring, what
Mm-hmm.
is ever going to make you decide to be better?
Nothing. Nothing.
Nothing. Nothing.
Mm-mm.
And I was like, that's so true. And so she was like, she grew up in a lot of ways so she could take care of her daughters.
Mm-hmm.
He's talking about how he adjusted to care for his child. And they just had like a real conversation. I don't know if there's any romantic vibes there, but they
Mm-hmm.
had a good conversation. I liked it.
I did too. I really liked it. Yeah, I don't know if I picked up romantic, but I mean, they could have had it and we just didn't see it, you know? Girl, why did Blake give Suanne that gift? What's he trying to do?
So that's another thing. I'm like, you're really into Suanne? Like maybe they've been texting or talking or something and they've
Oh,
been developing a connection off camera.
since he told her, since she told him that he was not going to be eliminated.
Possibly.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Or even like they were because they went on that Kangoo date, so maybe they were like texting and talking, and then she told him that, which is probably also
Right.
why she felt comfortable. Which probably why she probably felt comfortable in telling him what Jeffrey said because they've been developing a connection.
Yeah, she felt. Yeah.
So then Jeffrey, oh no, Andre's not here. Well, TTT Mark Anthony. Now Mark Anthony is like her favorite person.
Yeah, I mean, they did have that date, but maybe more something progressed. I don't know.
So some things on the yacht. Everybody seemed to be mingling, moving around, having a good time. Mercedes picks up a fishbowl off of a table, and they just like, oh, there's suggestion to play a game. So she's asking all these questions.
Mm-hmm.
So Mark Anthony ended up kissing Jeffrey because they told Jeffrey to kiss her number one match or person she felt most connected to. So Jeffrey propositioned Mark Anthony for this kiss, but she seemed to be pulling back when he was kissing her.
Did he? Did she?
Yes, she seemed apprehensive, like, what?
Oh,
Like, what you asked for the kiss? You could have
well,
said, oh, I have one, but I'm not comfortable kissing. She looked uncomfortable to me.
well, and then Demario's reaction.
When Jeffrey kissed Mark Anthony, I was instantly turned off.
He was so disgusted.
So he said, I'm turned off.
Yeah, he was immediately. He was disgusted. The first one was Corvea. She was asked who she thought was the best kisser,
Yeah, that was gross.
and she said Demario.
And that face he made was disgusting. That gesture with his tongue, that was gross.
Yes, and then she was like, "Keep your tongue in your mouth." They're not right. But she was so happy about it still. It was awkward.
Nasty.
I still just see used car salesman.
I somebody uncle, somebody old nasty uncle at the family picnic. That's what I saw.
True, I can see that too. Looks like a character in Tyler Perry's plays.
Yes.
Yeah. And then I could see Mark Anthony. He was supposed to rub the foot of the person he was most interested in. And he picked two people. He picked Morgan and Jeffrey.
Jeffrey and Mercedes.
I keep calling her Morgan.
See that? I noticed that.
It's Mercedes. Yeah, he picked Jeffrey and Mercedes.
Mm-hmm.
But the way that he was rubbing Jeffrey's foot.
I don't think he could get to it because of how her shoe was laced. And then I think he gave up on trying to get it all the way off.
He did. I don't blame him.
I appreciate, though, that he saved Mercedes for last. Because then it was like, I can really finish with you. That's how I took it.
Oh, okay. I don't know what him and Jeffrey are doing. And then the next one, so this is actually Morgan. I have them both written down as Morgan.
So let me say something before you say that.
Mhm.
Prior to this game, Morgan was talking to Tony. And again, she said, I don't know if, and that was something she said in the lounge on the last episode. I don't know if this Tony I'm getting is specific to me or if this is just Tony. And so, and I feel her on that, because if this is special attention you're giving me because you like me,
Great.
wonderful. But if this is how you interact with every woman, then I don't feel special. And so I totally get her and agree with her on trying to figure out what he's giving. And she even questioned him on it. And his response was, there you go, being insecure and stuff. You just need to know who you are. I was like, answer her. She's trying to figure out if this is real, if you're really here for her.
Every time we talk about Tony, it's just going to be like.
And that voice.
And I'm like, okay, all right.
Yeah, he's like trying to be like the less attractive LL. Who do you love? Oh, you for sure.
All he need to do is start licking his lips and get him a little.
He better not.
I mean, if you're trying to really embody LL,
don't do it.
Ladies,
anybody at LL sitting around licking their lips like that, be like, you want some chapstick?
Seriously,
it's disgusting.
So I just wanted to say that and give that preference, because it was obvious that Morgan was feeling some type of way when she drew her part of the game.
Yeah. So then her part, it asked her who she thought was the sexiest. And I thought she said Lyndon.
Yeah, I didn't expect that.
Marcia.
I love that she said that. I thought that was so cute.
It was cute. And then herself.
I loved how she said it. Of course, I'm going to name my bloop bloop self. I was like, oh, Morgan.
I thought it was so cute. That was cute. That was really cute. But Tony was taken aback by that. He did not appreciate that at all.
I thought Tony's response to that was childish. I thought the part that followed after that was childish. He didn't go try to have a conversation with Morgan. He didn't like try to play it off or like anything. Instead, he just went and talked to Jonique. And then when they were talking about their connections later and who they were into, he didn't say S about Morgan. Jonique is cool. And I was like, oh, Jonique's cool? You've been feeling Morgan these last 3-something weeks, and now Jonique's cool? You ain't got nothing to say about Morgan because publicly she didn't say anything about you? She tried to talk to you on more than one occasion about how you really feel about her, and you downplayed it or whatever you did.
He did.
And now Jonique is cool. I was like, this dude's whack. I don't like him. I didn't like that.
No, it wasn't cute. Well, then Jeffrey was asked who was strongest connection. And she said Mark, like we've already mentioned. And there's the kiss that you loved. Could you imagine maybe if like Jeffrey and Tony got together? All that soft talking in that house. Like, how do you ask somebody to come here from another room? Are you gonna come here? You gonna come here? No, I'm not gonna come in there. You gonna come here? No, I'm gonna be in here. I wanna watch TV in this room. Well, I was gonna watch TV in here. Well, I want to stay in here. Like I just can't. It's them poor kids be like, what? Like they couldn't hear anything. Their voices are silly. I'm gonna be like, say it with your chest.
That game was over.
No.
What?
The Mario, he was after he said, that he was totally turned off. He said she could have full stopped. It lacked self-control.
You could have full stopped. It just shows a lack of self-control.
Like they was just out here doing the most. It's not like they were slobbing each. Okay, it wasn't.
Why did she lack self-control also? Because the game prompted her to
Yeah.
pick her like best match. So I was like, what if anything, he lacked self-control, like, and he didn't, but like Mark Anthony was the one that really came in for it. So I was like, DeMario, what?
He was just so hurt by it.
It was funny. So after the game, there were a few conversations that stuck out to me. One being Corvea and Mario. They looked like they were having a really good conversation. So after Corvea obviously did not have a good week with Fabrice, and then DeMario's clearly now turned off of Jeffrey. It seems like Corvea and Mario found themselves back to each other because they were already clicking from before.
Oh yeah, they were. They really were, because they both really liked fashion and how each other dressed. I will say though, when they first panned to them talking, in the way that DeMario was talking, I thought he was drunk.
Oh, I thought he was very drunk. He seemed to be like wiping his head a lot.
Yeah, and he went to reach for one of the cups, and it's like was something else, and then he grabbed his beer. I was like, oh, maybe they're having a lot of fun on the yacht party.
Yeah, because he said something like, if I like you, I like you. It doesn't matter if you're here, if you're there, if you're on the other side of the yacht. Like, if it's you, we're going to find each other. He said something like that. And at first I was like, what the hell is he talking about? But Corvea seemed to really into what he said. So I was like, oh, it worked for her.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then the other conversation that I thought was hilarious, was something that caught my attention.
What?
Blake and Jeffrey. So since Sue-Ann had given Blake that news, Blake decided he was going to go talk to Sue-Ann about it, which I appreciate all this. Sue-Ann seems to be getting a connection with Blake, so she let him know what was going on. Blake is like, hey, this isn't cool. So he's like, let me go talk to Jeffrey about it. I feel like he could have delivered it better, but he basically was like, I heard you were talking about me. I was offended by it. I was hurt by it. I don't appreciate it. Please stop. And on one hand, I appreciated that he just said how he felt, and was like, don't do it anymore. Although she was like, well, what was said and who said it? And he was like, I'm not getting into that.
Yeah.
I felt like if you're going to accuse somebody of saying something tell them what you think they said.
At least say that. I mean, you could say that. I can see what he's trying to do. Like, he doesn't want to start anything.
Yeah.
But if you're accusing her of saying something, she should know what she's being accused of, even though she full well know.
Right. But then you have no way to say, oh, you know, because then you get into that, oh, you know, and they're like, but what is it? And you can't say that they know and they're playing coy if you full out and just say, you said I was really into you. You're not my number one pick. He could have shut that down right there. But this back and forth, and then I felt like the way she was playing it was like she was being what is it? Well, if you don't tell me what it is, I can't say it. Like, girl, you know what it was.
Yeah. I sometimes I understand if people are wanting to know. Like, in the instance, if you really didn't do anything, you're kind of like, well, what the hell is it? But if you did and you're pretending, like, I'm just like, girl, now what's the point?
So then at this point, Jeffrey came and found Sue-Ann to confront her about what was going on with Blake. She was like, so Sue-Ann was out on like an open part of the yacht, not an enclosed part. And she was talking with DeMario, and Sue-Ann was like, yeah, Blake just confronted me, and I guess he's upset because he got caught. And DeMario was like, got caught doing what? Like, he seemed like, what are you talking about? And she was like, I don't know. He just said something. And she was being coy again.
No.
Yeah. And so Sue-Ann was like, well, I'll tell you. I told him. Like, she just point blank was like, I told him that you said that I told him that you said that you were his number one pick. And I let him know that that was being said about him. Jeffrey still was like, oh, Blake's just pretending. He's pretending to be to anybody. Sue-Ann was cracking me up because the whole time Jeffrey was talking to her, Sue-Ann's face was like, And
Yeah.
then she said Jeffrey was like, yeah, he's just going through the motions. Like, for instance, if he were to give you a compliment, he doesn't really mean it. He's just saying it. And Sue-Ann goes, okay. I was just like, I love her.
I liked her too, but I feel like it was a little bit different. I feel like Jeffrey really believes the things that she's saying.
Yeah, good
And
liars make you think that.
yeah, like she really believes it, and she really believes that like Blake has done a disservice to her. But I don't know.
It's giving delusional.
To me, when she's sitting with Suanne and Demario, he seemed like he didn't really want to be. He wasn't going to get in it.
No,
He
he
wasn't going to
was
get
just
in it.
like,
Yeah, and so she came over there talking about like what her interaction with Blake, and Suanne was like, "Well, I'm the one that told him, and this is what I said."
mm-hmm.
And she was just like, then she started to reference Suanne like she thought she was a superhero coming in to save Blake. But it's like, you started this whole situation.
You started this.
Yeah.
You opened your mouth and said something that Blake said, whether it's the truth or not. You opened your mouth and shared it with everybody. And then you came over here to further this conversation with Suanne.
Yeah, but
You could have dropped it. When Blake came and said something to you, you could have said whatever you had to say to him. You could have stopped.
Yeah, but I really do feel like she is like oblivious, and
I think that she may be a liar. And I feel like maybe she's looking for attention.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe she's looking for some kind of validation or something. And so, everyone else has had like these negative encounters with Blake. So, like, he's an easy target for her to pick and say something negative about him. And she didn't think maybe anyone would defend it because they were all getting tired of him.
Mm-hmm.
But she also wanted to make herself look like she was some desired object. I wouldn't put that past this person that I see on the screen. I very much believe that she would try to sell a story like that. So and then she's going to go off and talk to Sue-Ann, and I feel like she's trying to get like Sue-Ann on her side because she realizes that Sue-Ann doesn't believe her because Sue-Ann goes and tells Blake. So now here's Jeffrey trying to like smooth it out, and Sue-Ann is not scared and is like, no, like, I don't believe you. I think Sue-Ann was even saying like, maybe you misunderstood or, something like that. Like, she's not outright calling Jeffrey a liar to her face.
Yeah.
But then for Jeffrey to be like, oh, here's Sue-Ann trying to be a superhero. And I'm like, so it's like you're indirectly insulting her or passively insulting her because you're getting caught in your lies.
Yeah. But she doesn't at all see it that way.
So I feel like I hope we get to see more of like what happens there.
We will, because I mean, just how they've left us up in arms now with who will or will not.
Let's go to that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So all of that went down, and then they go and they show the guys talking about who they want to eliminate. And Mario and Mark Anthony specifically are very passionate about extending a lifeline. And I can honestly get both of their sides. Mark Anthony is like, what if you get deeper with somebody later and you want to save that person? Which I understand that, because right now the relationships are still kind of fresh. And he's like, what if you really get into it with somebody later? You want to be able to save them. But I also hear what Demario is saying. Like, he obviously really likes somebody now, and he wants to save them now.
Yeah.
So the ladies they're talking about possibly eliminating, as we see Tony calls all the ladies up front in front of everyone as they're still on the yacht. And Tony calls up Marcia, Corvea, and was it Morgan? No, Jeffrey. Marcia, Corvea, and Jeffrey. So of course I'm like, send Jeffrey behind home. I don't
care. It's a couple of guys that would mind.
Exactly. And so then Tony is telling them what the guys don't like about them. And then they leave a cliffhanger.
They did. Yeah.
I was like, so I was trying to peep them on the previews.
Yes, Jeffrey and
Jeffrey's in the previews. No one else. You don't see who else is. but they
Mhm.
left us not being able to see either one of them in next week's preview. So it's like
And they may have and
Jeffrey
Jeffrey.
Bond's still here.
She was, because she was getting into another
Argument with
confrontation
Sue Ann.
with Sue Ann in the ladies' lounge. And she was like, well, you seem to be an advocate for the men, paying attention to what I'm doing. Do you have anything else to say? She's like, what, why are we being ugly?
Because you're being trifling. You're being messy. You probably sitting up here lying about somebody again. And Sue Ann isn't scared to call you out. That's what I think. But we'll see.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
all I got from the previews too. I was trying to watch it, but that was all I got was them two fussing. Because I was so bad, like, who they gonna show in the previews?
They
And then I
never,
got mad
they're
when I saw
never that
Jeffrey.
simple. Yeah, they're never that simple to
No.
give it away. I always try to catch it in whatever show, you know. Ooh, no.
Trying to see if you see somebody in the background that they like
No.
accidentally left in or something.
Didn't do it.
They didn't do it.
Okay.
All right. Well, we need to watch so we can see what happens and who got saved, or if they even extended a lifeline at all. And until next time, please like and subscribe. See you next time.
See ya.